You know what? It is Sunday, 9:14, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, and this is the right mindset, and we are live. Uh, is Thomas sorting a new hat for this week's head bump? Yes. Am I? Do I need a new hat? I do need a new hat. I always need a new hat. Welcome to the show, Flowers. So yes, we are live every Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday is always craft and education on craft for writing with some business. And then, of course, Sundays are always the Write With Me series from concept to conception. We are officially on the 36th episode. That's right. So, write a book with me from concept to conception. What is this about? Well, for anyone who's new to the show and hasn't been following for the last 36 weeks, let me get into it and just go over the quickness of it all. All right. There you go. Boom. So what we do is we ultimately take the my process. What's up, Cindy? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Salve. So for anyone who's just joined for the first time ever, just real quick, a recap. Basically what we've been doing is the process, my writing process, and there are 21 steps to it. We are going to skip a few of those steps because, well, it's live. But with that said, we've already done the highlighted. So if you go back to the beginning, you'll see how we brainstormed and had some brainstorm dumps. You'll see how we created character arcs and then organized those character arcs into short form outlining. And then ultimately, we did the extended outlines of every single chapter. And now we are on the 0 draft. Now, just for some context, we are using the 27 plot point outline. So there it is. My goal is to try to make every plot point 1 chapter long. However, we've ran into moments where we needed to expand it into 2. I think maybe one of them is a 3 chapter. But again, rules are meant to be broken. So you create the guidelines as an exercise, but then on top of it, you go a little deeper. All right. So, last we left, we were on chapter 21 on the second scene. That's where we are. Now, remember, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. And then, of course, we do have a poll today. What makes a successful book? That is, please let me know. Feel free to click on one of those. We have unique author voice, fantastic characters, network market practice, a great story. Period. We'll talk about that at the end of the hour, and then we will go into the fun part of a discussion. Oh, what do we got here? That was a hard poll to choose. All of them are important, but I think marketing is the least, although it helps. Interesting. You can have great marketing and a crappy story. The others are equally important. I'm not going to try to influence the vote, so I don't have a comment on this yet, Cindy. However, we always appreciate different diverse opinions and thoughts because, remember, there is no such thing as one way fits all ways. But we will talk about it, I promise. So please keep your opinions going and strong and bring them back at the end when we start really dissecting it. Though the inside of me wants to add and react to that wonderful comment, but I don't want to say if it's right or wrong. I don't want to influence the poll. All right, so let's get into it. Oh, wait. I just got a message. We got to make sure no one's in trouble, you know. Like, okay, all right. All right, we'll take care of that later. By the way, the stocks are up. So if you haven't already and you're in the States, I would look into that. All right. Let's get into it. All right. So last we left, Laura Olivia crashes on a moon. The ship is screaming and afraid. The ship, I should write this. The ship's computer is screaming and afraid instead of helping. When Laura tells the computer to help, the computer says that you can't help crash a ship anymore. Oh, Oh, please, could we get? Oh man, that was so funny. I'm gonna need one of. Please. It's all right, I know. Oh, hey, look, Emma's here. What did I join? Is this thing on? Comedy nights. This isn't Italian. It's like, hey, oh, what's the matter with you? But do you know what this is? It's Parkinson's. Okay, sorry. That was horrible. Oh, come on, stop. Thank you, thank you. Okay, all right. Sorry. Chabello. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going before everybody leaves. All right. Okay, opens the door, doesn't want to die. Laura tells the love interest that they can hide. And then okay, great. Boop. Okay, so getting into it. If no one knows what's going on here, please again, vote. Feel free. We'll talk about that at the end of the hour. But the way I do my zero drafts is I use them as basically chapter outlines. I use bullet points to help beat out and organize the rhythm and pace. I do not write prose in my zero drafts. I do write some dialogue. Occasionally I will write a pro, but it's just there as sort of like a tone gauge and not necessarily like, hey, this is going to be the final bit. But usually it's like that, like there are creatures here, but or this. Laura tells the love interest, right? It's just plot beats because I will build on that in the prose when I'm writing the first draft. But this allows me to know how, like for example, this is a plot beat. This is a main plot beat. The love interest opens a door, and then this sort of like plays in that. Laura wants to know what he's doing. Then we go to another beat. The love interest says, actually, this would be like this. Okay. And then this would be like this. And what that is showing me is that this particular main plot beat will have 1, 2, 3, 4 sub beats within that. And again, you could look at your chapters like this is a short plot beat with two sub beats. This has 1 sub beat. This has 2 sub beats. Sometimes they're just a plot beat itself. And that just gives me the rhythm of what's happening in that scene and how much time I'm spending on something or not. Fun fact, I just finished the chapter in the, whatchamacallits, this book, boop, boop, or not, I don't know what's going on, this book, where it actually goes over what I just mentioned there. There's just coincidentally, that's how it works, right? All right, but anyway. Let's keep it going. There are creatures that here that are deadly, and as they get out of the ship, they realize they are in over the head. The environment is hostile. Okay. So I kind of want to create this. All right. Laura. All right. The environment is hostile, though the air is breathable. So what I want to do is go back. All right, we just want to get that in there. See what I did there? What I just did is known as seeding. So I was further than that beat. I got to a moment where I'm like, wait a minute, I need to make some sort of logical decision here. The air has to be breathable, but how do they know? They just open the door, they could just die. But I know that the environment has to be dangerous, hostile. Okay, so now I could actually get rid of that beat because we know it was already set up. Okay, and that's something that's important when you're working on your outlines, your zero drafts, or even your first, second, third, or fourth draft. Know that if you get to a point where you need to add stuff, but you don't really know, you're like, oh, I didn't really add. How do I earn this? This feels like a Deus Ex Machina moment. Just add it because you could always go back and filter in seeding. More often than not, that is how a strong narrative is created. We learn that, oh, this would be interesting, or hey, I'm learning who the character is. Here's a revelation that would be even more powerful if I go back and start seeding everything that leads to this revelation. And sometimes writers get a little nervous or uncomfortable because they're like, oh, I just want to get the book done. You know, this is just more writing. But honestly, there is a stopping point. But honestly, those payoffs make great books. Those payoffs make it feel like I earned it. Those payoffs qualify your word count. So it's okay to add as long as it's all has value. You know, we talk about word budget on this channel. And you don't want to just spend that budget. You want it to be worth it. Yeah? All right. Hey, look, it's AI Thomas. All right. Creatures are flying around and rock and some trees are everywhere. All right. Large creatures are flying around. Others can be seen running along, which is made up of rock and some trees and random water, lakes, and etc. All right. Ooh, what do we got here? Working on my outline, I color-coded, and I also listed my choices A, B, C, easy as 1, 2, 3. Then go through pros and cons for each choice, because sometimes I'm not sure which I want to do, and then go outline it. Cindy, I love that. Fantastic. I think that's a great way to go about it. It's important for anyone who's reading. You know, when you get to a quote-unquote choice or an option or something happens moment, it's good to come up with a minimum of 3 ideas and then sort of like, as Cindy says, explore those ideas because you don't have to commit to them, but it's good to explore them. I will say this. The more you do that as an exercise, even before you write, but while you're also writing, it'll become something that's inherently a part of your process. Not that it would slow you down with like every time you get to a choice, you're like, what 3 things should I do? But your brain is automatically sort of thinking of those 3 things. And then it's, you know, like, it's like with music. In music, when I first learned the guitar, I learned scales. Right? And then you learn, hey, if I play these notes within this chord, right? And then when you start trying to put it together, you think about it. Oh, they're playing A, so I could play in C major or A minor, right? And then you're like, but what are those scales? But as you develop and practice and get better, you know the song is in C major, so you can play A minor or C major, and you know all the scales, and you know if they're playing the 1, 3, 5s, which if we're really getting into music, we're not. Your brain would just know that. So it's the same thing with writing. The more you practice something that seems mundane or in some cases overwhelming or tedious, those things become instinctually easier. And it just allows you to make choices while working it and writing it. In the writing room, one of the things I learned when I was first starting, where I was around other writers, is I always thought I had to have an idea. What I learned over time was, no, I need to listen to the room first. I'm not there to have ideas and them choose my ideas. I'm there to hear what is the story the head writer is trying to tell and how are other writers contributing and what is working and what is not working, and then go, okay, how do I make those things work and what could I add to that now, right? So sometimes it's good to step back, but I had to practice being able to take other people's ideas and analyze them. And you would think, well, analyzing, I'm not doing quote-unquote work. But in reality, you are. It's the little things that lead to the big things. All right. Anyway. Sorry, that was on a side. Okay. Now, see, this is the first main plot beat, and it establishes the environment. Now I'm going to do a second main plot beat where Laura and the love interest get off the ship. Okay. And what that means, by the way, is this is going to be explored in prose. I'm going to write a pro leading to it, a pro within it, and a pro leading away from it that ends up leading to this, where Laura and the other get off the ship, trying to duck out of the way of any creatures seeing them. I just have to double check something. Okay. Oh, okay, it's coming. Okay. Members ship. Okay. Alright, here's another one. Okay. The environment is how we already know that. I don't know what kind of things are going to attack them. So again, when you're doing like your zero drafts or your outlines, you don't really need specifics. You need broad general ideas. That's something we could work on later. In fact, you know, like if I commit to like a creature idea now, you know, it's going to slow me down to just get the narrative going. However, it doesn't mean I can't be like, you know, a flying creature swoops down trying to grab Laura. Okay. She ducks out of the way, jumping. Now we could create some to the right of the path and slides down the rock and dirt. Okay, the love interest jumps down following her. Okay. See, now I created an action beat, right? Let's see. Laura screams while sliding down the side of the hill. And splashes into a small pond. Okay. The love interest controls his stop since he was going down feet first, and Laura was falling down, or I should say not feet first, going feet first and on his ass while Laura was falling down on her stomach. Okay. You know, like she's like, ah! And he was more like, how's that go? Ah! Yeah. Stomach. Is that how you spell stomach? Stomach. Yeah, it is. Look at that stomach. Your stomach should look like a J. All right. Remember, as you can see on the bottom of the scroll, if you have any questions while I'm writing, while I'm working, please feel free to ask them. Hey, what's up, Hannah? Hi, I'm re-outlining my story once again. I know that my title was A Spirit of Truth, Tempter of Lies, and the Shame of Grace. But now I found a more suitable title called Untrue, Unbroken. Hey, as long as you're having fun, my friend. As long as you're having fun. Very simple and straightforward. You can't go wrong with simple and straightforward. Right? Sometimes it's the straightforward stuff that's more powerful. Where am I? Oh. What's going on? Okay, the love interest jumps down, violence and screams. Oh, the love interest controls the stump. Oh, wait, we need this. Okay. I gotta bring this up. This is what I want to do. Oh, I can do this here. All right. The gang leader flies low and shoots at them. All right. And the flying creature attacks the gang leader's ship. Gang leader shoots the creature. Killing it. Alright. Well, what we got here? We got more? All the lies and guilt are the 10 plagues from the Bible. Well, there. Alright, excellent. The truth and cards. My main character, aka Princess Fairy, is the creator. I love it. I love it. I like hearing all this excitement. You know, it's creativeness. You know, that's the world we live in. All right. By the way, if anyone doesn't know, there is a poll in the comments. What makes a successful book? We have a unique author voice, specifically unique author voice, fantastic characters, like me. I'm a fantastic character. Actually, just my beard is. Network market practice and a great story. Period. Period. All right, with that said, let's keep going. Okay. Laura, and the love interest run off. Trying to get away from everything. From shooting. Alright, trying to get away from the gang leader shooting. Alright. The gang leader lands their damn ship. Sounds interesting, Hannah. Can't wait to see the end results. Exactly. We are excited to see the end results. What do we got here? I think I need to make the beard a character in my next book, Mr. T Beard. Can you beard with me? Call him Harry. But you gotta pronounce it with like an accent. You're like, hey, Harry, get over here. Hey, Harry. So far, we have 6 votes in. Beardly. Harry Beardly. Excellent. All right, what we got? Of these cards, and when she gets drowned into the game itself with a boyfriend. Sorry, I'm bad at names. I just kind of flip through them. And her twin human sister. She is on a journey of who cursed her. Fairy Bell's court. Oh. Cursed, huh? Well, you gotta put money in the swear jar when you curse. That's what I was told. That's what I was told when I was younger. All right, 210. What are we on? Chapter 21? Yeah. Chapter 21. We are flying through. I'm pretty happy about what's going on here. What'd I say? I missed it. 210. 210. This is pond and getaway. All right, this is land the ship. We gotta double check that. Doing 270. Oh, 270. Hey, 270. Hey. All right. That's 22. You want to go to 21. All right, 21. What do you got? Is that it? Oh, we got some more challenges. Which leads them to they need to survive. Okay. Boop. They need to survive both the planet and the gang member coming after. I also want the environments to have to be harsh, causing them. They are forced into a situation where they have to hide. One for food, one for the other. Okay. Oop. Laura, Olivia, and the love interest characters. Hello, everyone who's joining me. If you don't, if it's the first time, I am working on the Zero Draft. I use it as an outline. It is not necessarily prose related. This is where I'm just mapping out the rhythm and pace of a chapter using the extended outline that I worked on in previous videos, and now I'm just growing on those things. Also, if you're interested, there is a poll in the comments: what makes a successful book? Feel free to pop on a vote on that. We have unique author voice, fantastic characters, network market practice, and a great story, period. And we will talk about that at the end of the hour, which will be 3 o'clock. All right, Laura and Olivia and the love interest run around the large rocks, and a creature runs after them. For the record, I like putting my characters through the ringer. You know, I'm not easy on my characters. Hello, Afghani. I like to push hard on my character, especially in the third act. And the third act is almost no holds bar. All right, in fact, a lot of my alpha readers and beta readers and stuff like that, when they were reading like the epic fantasy stuff, they're always just like, the first book, I was reading up to the middle of it, and I was like, oh, all right, it's like a hero's book. And then they get to the middle, like, you, and then they got to the end, they're like, oh, this is not what I thought it would be. Very crazy. And then in the second book, people are like starting to read the second book stuff to get, you know, the alpha readers, and they're like, do you not love your characters? Like, why do you do what you do to them? And I go, because it's interesting to see them have to deal with stuff. No one cares about someone who wakes up, sits on the couch, drinks coffee or tea, puts their feet up, watches 6 episodes in a row of Friends, and then, they have some lunch. And somebody comes over and they give them a hug and say, hey, everything's going to be all right. And then they leave, and then the person makes dinner, and then they watch another 3 episodes of Friends, and then they go up to bed, and then that's it. Like, that story, we can't enjoy that book. Nothing's going to keep me turning that book, you know. I finished chapter 5 today. Got 2 more to go. I want to finish before October. Afghani, everyone give Afghani a huge congrats. That's great, Afghani. Chapter 5, and you have 2 more to go. That's fantastic. By the way, I'm itching to read some of your stuff, because you know me. I want to see it. We still haven't named the love interest. I have to name my characters even if I change them. I don't seem so attached to them if I don't. Yeah, I agree in a sense. In the epic fantasy, like when I was first like outlining stuff, like especially for the extended outline, I literally had 4 characters named C1, C2, C3, C4. And there was a point where the characters were starting to develop a personality. And once I started seeing the personality, I went back and I added the name to previous chapters. And then I continued to use those names. Right now, the reason I'm not using a name is I don't have a personality on the page yet for them that really. There's some moments of personality. Clearly, he has agency. Clearly, he cares about her. But the goal is for me to not give them a name until I see some personality. Even if, by the way, I end up changing the name anyway. It's just easier for me to go, all right, that's just the love interest right now. But that doesn't mean in other zero drafts or other outlines, I don't name characters right away, because sometimes you just know who a character is. Good for you, Afghani. Let's get a round of applause. Hey, everyone. For Afghani, congratulations. Excellent. All right, what else we got? I've named my vampire in my next story. Well, obviously you named it T-Beard, T-Array-Beard, or what is it? Array-T-Beard. There we go. Array-T-Beard. Me too, Cindy. Me too. Yeah, no, I get it. I get that for sure. All right, let's see. Okay. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, I'm working. I don't even have the screen up. I'm trying to think out. Think out the setup of PP27 and eat Chana Dali Dal. That's the fun part is trying to work it out. Trying to figure out what's going on. All right, what we got here? What do we got here? Okay. My book started demanding I write them together, so I have a portable storyboard using 12 by 12 scrapbook and covers. Ooh, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that, Cindy. All right. Okay. By the way, I know this is going to be written in first person, so a lot of the stuff we won't see, but I do want to still know what's happening outside of the view of the main protagonist, just so I understand narrative movement. For example, there's a moment where I say the gang member lands the ship. Like, we're probably not going to see that, but I'd like to at least know what's happening. All right. And then, okay. Okay. All right, so weather is getting in, so we got to make it rain. See, went back and seated. Seated. See? Seated. Don't you want to seed with me? All right. All right, there you go. I feel good about that. 131. 131. Okay, which is actually brings us, because I added a little bit, we got to go here and just get a new number count. 227. 227. Not sure anyone knows, but that was a fun TV show on television. It's a sitcom, so, whatever. 289. 289. Okay, there we go. We are on chapter. We're going to be on chapter 28 now, huh? 20 tree. 20 tree. 20 tree? 21? Where's the thing? Interesting. I think I closed it. All right, no problem. All right, 22. We're on 22? Yeah. All right, 22. All right, so what is 22 for anyone out there? 22, also known as plot point 22. This is going to be Act 3, Section 8. The protagonist finds power. Plot point 22 is having hit rock bottom. The protagonist remembers their desire to succeed and finds the power within. I actually kind of want to go over something real quick. Oh, what do we got? We got a Ro in the room. Hey, what's up, Ro? Greetings, Thomas and Room. The room. Let's talk about it real quick. So, chapters 20, chapters 19, 20, and 21. So if we go back here, 19 got 2 chapters, but ultimately chapter 19, 1 and 2, chapter 20, and chapter 21 is considered section 7. Victory seems impossible. Okay. So, just to clarify, what was the goal of Section 7? All right, so Act 3, Section 7, victory seems impossible. Those first 3 plot points, okay, plot point 19, 20, and 21, is supposed to start with the potential of success and end with the darkest moment, meaning they are in a situation where there is no hope. They are trapped, in this case, literally a hard place, right? So 19 would be where the protagonist basically faces significant challenges, but ultimately it's stuff they never really experienced, but at the same time, they're like, hey, we have to do this because it will lead to potential success. However, plot point 20 leads to a plot twist. In the case of our story, that was entering space and heading to a moon, because the plot twist is that the gang member is there and they're trying to get shooting the thing, and if the ship gets hit, they'll be done. So they had to choose to land on the moon, which brings them to their darkest moment, which is another pinch or twist. But this specifically leads them through something that's incomprehensible. So we have elevated the stakes with it's raining, harsh environment, they crash ship again, they're being attacked by the gang leader, there's flying and land monsters, creatures, it's mostly rocky with some trees and water, landscape and environment. They end up running into a cave and fall down a cavern. Well, in that cave, weather is coming into the cave, like water and stuff. But outside that cavern, it's a rock and a hard place. They have creatures waiting for them, and they have the gang leader looking for them, who has weapons, and they're stuck here. So we have officially accomplished that. Now, Chapter 22, or Plot Point 22, is going to start imbuing the characters with a sense of hope. The 22 is going to set up the situation. So, having hit rock bottom, the protagonist needs to remember their desire to succeed, and they will find a power within. Plot point 23, or chapter 23 in our case, they are going to take action. They're going to be like, you know what, we can do this. Let's make something happen. And then plot point 24, also known as convergence, will bring together all the subplots, though it doesn't always have to be that way. There is always leeway and nuance to breaking the rules. But whatever happens in plot point 24, it leads to the final battle. All right. So right now, this should be setting up what's going on. We have one scene for this. Oh, I like. All right. Okay. That was me, by the way. The cat is not here. The cat is not here. Oh, what's up? What's up, Hyrule? All right. Don't we all know that feeling? Okay. All right. I actually want to make this a note, just so I know, because I like the sentiment of this. All right. Hello. Oh. Yes, we all as authors know. I want to be an author. Oh, really? How many books do you have? No, I said I want to be an author. That's how all writer journeys start. All right, so this first main beat sets up their situation. This is actually a new beat. This is Laura's beat. And now we're going to go into the love interest's beat. So this will be another beat. Hey Cindy, hey flowers, boom 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 boom. All right. So did I spell that right? Caliber? Caliber. Caliber. Yeah, I did. All right. All right. So now I'm gonna do this. Actually, we will keep this. Says that she needs to write the book and maybe give. All right. Okay. what do we got here? Oh, the other guy I watched called The Eighth Plot. Oh, I know who you're talking. He's finally started posting some more videos about his process of writing a story live as well. I think I only saw like one or two of his videos. I feel like he bought a red background. Because he's like, hey, this guy has a red background. I should have a red background, you know? But I saw the red background and I was like, you know? But at the same time, not as organized as Thomas is, obviously. Well, no, you know, everybody's got their own style and structure, and like, you know, whatever works for you when it comes to outlining. I don't really judge people's processes. I just thought it was funny that he had a red background. I was like, what is going on? What has he got? He's got my red background. Though the video I saw, he was like down low in the video. He was like this. He was like, what is? He was like this, and he's like talking down here, like, and I was like, I can relate to this guy. He's comfortable. He's relaxed. You can't judge that. You know, you can't judge comfortable and relaxed. But it did give a good shot of the full red background he has. All right, anyway. Okay. She's in it. Okay. All right. Why am I writing all right? Yeah. She's in it to win it, and they make a plan together, which has to do with the gang membership. Well, in the hiding spot, they finally. I don't know what the plan's gonna be yet, but we know that's here. Wow, we just did that. That was pretty quick. Now, as you can see, this is a fairly fast. Ooh. I forget what it was. 363. I make it bold so I know what draft I'm on. That's the only reason I make that bold. In the cave with a dream. Okay, we're at 48. All right, I think I'm gonna stop. But we got to chapter 23. Ended here. We did a chapter and a half. I'm happy about that. Okay. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a nice long one. Okay. All right, boom. There you go. All right, we worked on another couple of chapters. Let's talk about what makes a successful book. If you haven't voted in the poll yet, we have what makes a successful book, unique author voice, fantastic characters, network market practice, a great story, period. All right. I'm going to give some time for people to still vote, just in case you haven't already. While I do that, I'll do my spiel. Everyone want to hear my spiel? Oh. Come on. Look, you get to see my beard a little bit, right? You understand. I think I'm having too much fun with these sound effects. But anyway, just so you know, I use my beard to cover up most of my face. Like my mother says, you have a face for radio. All right. Let's get into it. By the way, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. Of course, obviously subscribe and hit the bell icon. It really helps the channel because with it, you know, things happen. Glad I can make you laugh. Also, behold the sword of bloop bloop. That's right. Can you vanquish the villains and the evil by blooping the beard? To bloop that like button if you haven't already. Each like on the video helps elevate the video and the analytics of the channel, giving YouTube some sense of audience engagement, which then make them say, hey, this channel exists. Also sharing the video. All right. Additionally, Breaking Down Success, the Foundation for Longevity. This book is still doing very well, and that's thanks to everybody out there. I make a couple sales every day, and honestly, obviously I know you guys aren't buying the book multiple times, but I want you to all know that even having bought the book, thank you very much for that. But the love and support that's coming in from that is really driving me. I'm at first I released it sort of as a way to say, all right, I'm saying goodbye to that part of my life because I used to consult, but I was in the entertainment industry on sets and writing and so it was a nice sort of like, hey, but there's 5 books in that series. They're all done already. I just slowly formatting to get them out every 6 months. But at the end of the day, it's nice to see sort of a pushback, not a pushback, a supportive element to it. It's very touching to my heart. I'm a very emotional guy. You know that. You've seen me tear up just from eating cake. God damn it. All right. Additionally, I am officially on. Let's see. Oh, I've been killing it with word count on this thing. I just did. Let's see. Last night. I did. Let's see. I did 4,600 words last night on this. I'm officially up to chapter 28. I have 5 chapters left. So hopefully the book will be, how do we say, 29, 30, 31, 32 pages. 32 chapters. So that should be a nice full book. Right now, before I edit and everything, I'm at 100,000 words, but it is comprehensive. It is detailed. It definitely goes into the value of the plot points. It goes into how to outline the actual chapters. It goes into how to outline the actual outline. It shows examples of doing those things. And it's not generalized advice. It doesn't just go, hey, you should, I'm trying, Cindy. I'm trying. No, I'm flying through it. I think I'll probably be done in the next 3 or 4 days, honestly. But these next couple of chapters are so short. I feel like a fly through. But with that said, though, what I really love about the book is it is not generalized advice where it's like, there's a couple books out there that I've been, that I have, like Save the Cat and other stuff like that. But it's like usually general advice. I approach this book as if I'm teaching. So it is not written academically where it's like boring and drab and, like you should do this and this is the definition of blah, blah, blah. It's more like it has my personality. I tell jokes. I use, familiar references. I connect things to stuff. It was a lot of fun. I even break down. I use the Pirates of the Caribbean, the Curse of the Black Pearl. I use that movie, even though it's a book about novels. It's about outlining narratives, but it is focused on books. But it allows you to look at how each plot point is connected to every beat in that movie. So it's a lot of fun. I'll definitely be buying that book. Hey, Bernadette, what's up? Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hey, look. I am writing it for everyone out there to have as a resource. And but the fact that you're interested and other people have been hounding me privately in messages definitely puts the fire under me, because I am working on other books, but at the same time I was like, let me put those other books off for because I this is nonfiction. I can fly. There's no prose. I don't have to write fancy clean stuff. Anyway, speaking of Death of the King, if you don't know, this is available on Patreon. But again, and you can find it on makearightleftheare.com. You can find a link to the Patreon. But at the end of the day, the Patreon tier is it shows you not only does it show you my author thoughts on each week is a chapter. So, week 1 was the prologue, week 2 is chapter 1, week 3 is chapter 2, so forth and so on. But it shows you my author thoughts on how and what is going into that draft. On Mondays, it's always the short form outline of that chapter. Tuesday is the extended draft outline on that chapter. Then it's 0 draft, first draft, third draft, and I talk about those things. But I also go into how to take what it is I'm talking about in that post and how to correlate it to your own writing and your own books. And then I have questions you could ask yourself when writing. And then, of course, there are assignments on the bottom of the post as well. So it's pretty good. It's not common for me to buy multiple copies of a book, but with that plot point book, I know people I can pass it on to, and I plan on doing so. Well, Ro, listen, you let me know when that book comes out how many copies you want, and you can buy directly from me, which will save you some money compared to buying on Amazon, because I know Amazon, they up the prices on some things, and plus you got to pay crazy shipping, like, shipping. Okay. All right. Other than that, let's see. Ooh, we got 8 votes. All right. What makes a successful book? We have unique author voice. We have fantastic characters, network market practice, and a great story, period. We have 8 votes, 50. So 4 people voted a great story. And then 2 people voted unique author voice. 1 person voted fantastic characters, and 1 person voted network market practice. Very interesting. Very interesting. A great story, period. I am extremely happy that everyone, that half of the people chose a great story, period. Let's end the vote. And let's talk about it. Oh, thank you, Ro. Look, I got flappy fingers. Okay. All right. So listen. A great story, period, can never sell a book. And I'll tell you why. Hear me out. Write a great book. In fact, we're going to, in this example, it is the best book ever. Okay? But then put it in the closet and shut the door. And how many people do you think would show up to your door? Now you're going to say, but Thomas, obviously I wouldn't write it and then hide it. I would tell people about it, which is what? Marketing. But a book isn't great because you wrote it, and it's not great to somebody who hasn't read it. So you have to market a book in a way that allows people to take a chance on a book they've never read. Even though you know in the whole world, once they read it, will know it is the greatest book ever. That isn't known until they do read it. So books sell not because it's a great book. It sells because what led it to that book. And there are a couple things for that. An example of a story where I don't give a shite about the characters, only the story itself makes me want to watch is The Expanse. The Expanse. I know what you're talking about. Yes, The Expanse. Didn't they make a TV show about that? But hear me out. A great story will lead to longevity, and obviously anyone who reads that book, because in this scenario it is the greatest book, if you release another book, they'll at minimum give you a chance. And if that book is great or not great, whatever, it doesn't matter. But that first book, people will not trust you until after they read that book. So how do we get them to read the book? And that comes down to marketing. However, let me go a little further. Let's say you don't market the book, but all you do is tell your friends, family, and associates, which are people like but you don't hang out with every day and they're not blood related, right? That's networking. So if you build a relationship with people around you and you tell them, hey, I'm working on a book, and they go, oh, I'd love to read that book. That is networking. They're going to give you a chance because they love you. It's like a mother or father. You give them a drawing of stick figures when you're a kid, and they're like, oh, I'm putting this on the refrigerator. It's like the Mona Lisa, because they're overly supportive, because they love you. There is a relationship there. So yes, they're going to support you. However, now we get to practice. Practice is not necessarily about writing. It is actually about learning what your strengths and weaknesses are and developing yourself to elevate those strengths and weaknesses to best help you at the tables you join to lead, follow, and advise. But more importantly, how does that help you? Well, getting involved with your community, working with libraries, schools, colleges, writing groups, etc., etc., etc. You bring value and expertise to there. Either you're great at giving feedback, beta reading, whatever. This then, in turn, builds relationships because you are marketing your brand value, which connects you to other people. And then now these people are emotionally connected to you, and they buy your book. More importantly than that, how do you do it with strangers? Marketing, marketing, marketing. You develop a marketing relationship with your brand and the audience of potential. And then, of course, slowly but surely, some of that audience becomes friendly. Some of that audience becomes friends. And some of that audience basically becomes family. Let's be honest. Some non-blood is more family than others. And that leads to a book's longevity and success. However, a great book or great books and great writing will lead to a long career as an author. But for a book's success, it comes down to network, market, and practice and establishing that sort of routine. Let's look at some of the things, and I'm going to go into unique author voice, fantastic characters. Let's see. One of the problems with recent movies is they make me despise. Bro. I could do a whole month on that. I am so on it with you. You and me, we just did it. In fact, you've just earned one of these. You've just earned. I agree wholeheartedly. All right. So true. My story's world is based off of 3 areas of Egypt. Thebes, northern Thebes, and Cairo, Egypt or Alexandria. Very cool. Who doesn't like Egypt, right? Cairo. Very cool. Hannah, you keep working on that because we're definitely interested in seeing you succeed and elevate. All right, let's get into unique author voice. Now, I was talking to a lovely lady the other day, who I very much respect and appreciate. And we were talking about this. Now, there is a difference between writing to market and then unique voice. Unique voice is a Tolkien. A unique voice is a Sanderson. A unique voice is a Mary Shelley. A unique voice, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the voices that created not only, say, a genre, but a pivot to a genre. Or, like, you know, RR is like grim dark, or whatever, grim. But unique voices can create movements or elevate a movement or whatever the case is. We need unique voices to do that, but she is also right on the fact that, like, to market or all these things will help create sales and longevity and stuff like that. But both of those things don't necessarily create successful books. There are 2 things to think about. There is my author career, and then there is this book I'm working on. And the specific question for the poll is, what makes a successful book? And honestly, author's voice, that's not necessarily, because again, author voice is internal, right? So how do we get people to even pay attention to the book, to even see that it has a unique voice, et cetera, et cetera. But I also want to add, if I may, when it comes to finding your unique voice and stuff like that, you can develop that through marketing. So, like, the way you market yourself, the way you talk about things on social media, the way you present your posts, or if you do interviews, this is a part of your unique voice, right? So your expertise, the things you care about, the way you express your feelings, the way you are passionate about a genre, etc., etc. All these things will lend to the marketing of it. But as far as, like, on the page, in the page, maybe not so much. But also fantastic characters. Again, we are dealing with internal truth and not external results. But every book you release is a new book, which means it's new marketing. That's why I always talk about, when I do talk about business, I say author branding first, because as an author, you can now write multiple books and people go, hey, Stephen King is writing XYZ. But if you focus on, hey, I wrote a book, right, and it's and there's no personality connected to the book. It's just book, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, right? There's a disconnect, and you start losing some things. However, I will say this: a great story, period, unique author voice, and fantastic characters are all linked to what people would expect from your brand, but once they start reading your material. And they can't have that relationship with you until they do what? Read the book. And you can't read the book until somebody says, hey, you should read this book. Or why should I read this book? Oh, you wrote this book? Like all that leads to... I did this experiment with someone. We went to we were at a bookstore. And we ended up talking about this. I knew the correct answer was going to be marketing and networking, but I still chose great characters since you talk about fantastic characters a lot. Look, again, longevity, you need fantastic characters, you need a fantastic book, you need fantastic author voice, you need things that make the book stand out for longevity. But when I talk about success, just to be clear, it's that a book starts getting purchased, it starts creating movement, and all that only starts when you open or you take the dike out of the dam and the water starts spurting. Once that happens, the longevity of it, the longevity of success comes from great characters, great voice, and a fantastic story. But none of that matters before you pull it out of the dam. All right, before you open the floodgates. You can't do that until you have momentum. And momentum doesn't start if you don't at least push on the car to get it up or down the hill. So again, we are not talking about longevity, and we're not even talking about an author career in this question. We are simply talking about a successful book in general. I really hope that helped put a little bit of perspective into it, and maybe, just maybe, you have some questions you'd love to throw my way about that topic in general, because I love this side of the business as well. But other than that, we kicked some butt today. We kicked some butt today. I'm really happy. All right, I guess that's it. I guess we could call it a day. You want to call it a day? Did you have fun? Did everyone have fun today? Did you learn something today? Did you find yourself thinking, hey, this guy has a beard, but also he's got a pretty nice nose too. His nose isn't too bad. I give his nose at least a 1 out of 2, which is snot nothing, So I'm just saying. It's snot nothing. All right, come. All right, everyone. All right, there we go. I stopped it. It was on repeat. What's going on? All right. Do they have any other sound effects? Let's see. Oh, this one. When I do bad jokes, I could go like I get the gong. All right. Anyway. Oh, we got some. Are you going back in time with your books, Hannah, or are they modern? Oh, that's a great question. I love the name Devious. Oh, thank you, Flowers. Yes. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. And by the way, the name itself has a funny origin, because originally I was like, it'd be so funny if like the hero protagonist had a name that was like, because usually like names like connect to who the characters are. And I was just like, I just want to, but I made it as a joke. I was like, we'll just call him Devious. And then it's sort of like more or less not great. Like the more you say it, it becomes such a good name, more or less not great. And that's what happened with me with Devious. And to me, when I'm like reading or writing it, it doesn't feel like I'm writing the word devious. It feels like I'm writing the name Devious. However, there is a moment in the book, I think I changed it, I'm not sure. It might be in an earlier draft, so you might end up seeing it, where I do use the word devious in the context of its definition. And it's just funny. because I also have the program, my, in Google and stuff, I have saved words add to the dictionary. And when I did that, it was like, devious needs to be capitalized. Yeah, it definitely. It goes way against who he is. He's definitely not devious for sure, but he is without a doubt devious. And no, I do love writing devious. He is like the hero's hero, but I will say he's not. I will say, and it's clear on the page that he'll definitely try to do the right thing. And that's all I'll say. He'll try to do the right thing, but the right thing isn't always the right thing to do. And I definitely, the deeper you get into that book, I just want to prepare you. The deeper you get into that book, it becomes more aggressive towards the characters. I do not hold the characters' hands. I do not go, it's going to be easy, buddy. You got this. You will not. For me, it's very emotional, very physical, very spiritual, very, not spiritual like, you must believe in the gods. But like spiritual as like it's a journey for everybody, and not just devious. The some of the other characters, I would but you're only tomorrow starts chapter 2, and chapter 2's the others. So that's a fun chapter. My story is for Isekai writing contest. It's both the past and the present, where my characters are reincarnated into another world, and then they get drowned into the game world that my main character creates. That is very cool. Very cool. Very cool, Hannah. Look at you. That's exciting. Right there, using the creative brain. That is wow. Because that's the way it was, right? It's a book. That's the thing. Like, if you ever tell someone your story, if you're like, here's my idea, and they're like, that's crap, you have to be like, it's all fake. It's all made up. You could do whatever you want. If someone's like, you can't do that, you have to do it like this, you got to add that. You just say, look, I'm going to take a sip of my soda and ignore you. That's all you got to say to them. Unless you drink water. If you drink water, then the soda part would be weird. Oh, I feel so loopy, and I don't know why. I did go to bed at 1 o'clock. I'll be honest. I did go to bed, and I didn't wake up very early. It was like 9 o'clock. What was that? Was that 8 hours of sleep? I guess that's good, right? I don't know. I'm old though. I'm almost 50. I need like a cool. I don't need a lot of sleep. I just need like 24 hours, and I'll feel rested in 24 hours. Honestly. Anyway. All right. Oh, look at that. There's new sound effects added, but I won't play them. All right, everybody. If there's no more questions, and we're in it to win it. Oh, yeah, before we go, I guess I should do that. Let me tell you what's coming up this week. What is coming up this week in the schedule? So you can prepare for Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Let's see. All right. Wednesday. Oh, yes. Wednesday is going to be fun. So remember, Wednesday and Fridays are pre-recorded videos. What do we got here? Oh my God, we're going to do the old thing. I was up for 30 hours from 30. Wow. 63, that's still young. And I have dyslexia, so technically you're 36. But I'll just leave this here. So Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the pre-record of The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. We will be studying the prose of the prose. That series is where I break down the prose. I show you where logical narrative movement is coming out in, by the way, it's a domestic noir and a psychological thriller. I will explain logical narrative movement in the prose. I will explain prose sentence lengths, rhythms, etc., etc. I basically break down and analyze the prose of the first page. If you've watched other videos, there are 3 other videos in that series. I did it with Susan Collins' The Hunger Games, Way of Kings, and of course Game of Thrones, and I will continue to do that series. It's one of those for me, but I hope everyone else enjoys it. Bloop the sword, and behold the beard. Yes, please bloop that like button. Friday will be a video on scene structure, about writing effective dialogue. Understand how to write dialogue that drives the scenes forward, reveals character, and adds depth to your story. I had a lot of fun doing that video. And then, of course, Saturday, we will be going over... wait a minute. All right. Saturday will be basically a writing class. I actually have to decide what it is. I apparently don't have it here. 1 second. Actually, you know what? Since I have everyone here, you're the audience. You're the people that keep coming every week. I haven't seen Friday's video yet. Oh, the interview. Yeah, it's actually a quote unquote named author. I finally had a nice guest on where they had a little bit of name, Lorna Graham. We had some fun about that. So Saturday, let's just do it right now. What kind of video would you like me to do on next Saturday's live? What would you like me to go over or talk about? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments, and out of those, I will put them into a hat, and I will happily draw from it, and we'll figure out what is what on Saturday. So before I go, let's give it a minute or two. Think about what you'd like me to do. Okay, let's put that on the list. All right. I got like 100 pens over here. Let's see. Okay, we got prologues. Number 1, prologues and epilogues. Oh. Okay, and then we got world building and you love those conlangs, huh? World building. Okay, conlangs. Oh, inciting incident. Are you asking for a video on inciting incidents in general or something specific about inciting incidents? Even I could do a video. What are we writing? I missed it. Oh, hey, okay. So we got world building, conlangs, inciting incident. What are we writing? You missed the whole. I would recommend going back to watch. Afghani, we're asking next Saturday. I don't actually have a topic written down to discuss, so I'm asking everyone, what would you like me to go over on next Saturday's live? Definitely. Oh, we got 2 for prologues. All right. Well, that might solidify it. But that doesn't mean I won't go over these other things. In general, okay. Relationships and conflict. Oh, that's a good one. Relationships and conflict. Okay. That sounds good. All right, there we go. We got to double up on prologues. Woo! All right, that might end up being it. But listen. Doesn't mean it's the only time. I could do these videos, hey, I got to start recording the videos for next year, We got dialogues and book blurbs. Oh, there we go. Let's put this here. Dialogues. There we go. Dialogues. Book blurbs. I do like writing book blurbs. And then 8. Oh, hooks. Afghani, real quick. When you say hook, do you mean opening hooks, chapter 1 hooks? Are you talking about general chapter hooks? Are you talking about narrative drive, which, by the way, is described in great detail in the 27 plot point outline? So I do talk about narrative drive, which helps pull readers through an entire book. But and keeps them turning the page. Chapter 1 hook. All right, there we go. Chapter 1 hook. I believe I actually have a couple videos on chapter 1 hooks, but this is good. 8 options. I get 8 options to choose from. If anyone has any other ideas, just for fiddle's sake, and to appease the son of Bloop Bloop, feel free to give more. All right. Well, we got, can chapter 27 be more than one chapter? Absolutely. Abso-frickin-lutely. Action. Oh, okay. Can PP27 be more than one chapter? Yes. Every single plot point can be more than one chapter. I would recommend that the chapters that you put into a plot point at least establish the rules and functionality of the plot point. However, if you start getting into 7, 8, 9, 10 chapters within a plot point, unless you have multiple POV chapters, you might be going too deep. If you have only one POV, honestly, 5 chapters is like the cusp of what you should have in a plot point. You should really be able to get everything you need to for that plot point into it. I usually use the example of 3 chapters. You have, like, you know, establishing the plot point, playing in the plot point, and then exiting the plot point, right? You could do that. But if it's one POV in your book, 5 chapters in a plot point is really, that's the tight end. You can do 6. You could even, you know, nudge the 7 if you really have to. If you have more than one POV, like 2, you could basically nudge it a little bit more. But remember, the first protagonist, the main protagonist, at minimum, must have 1 chapter dedicated to each plot point for that character. For any other protagonist or main character or secondary characters, you can actually start mixing plot points into a chapter itself. 1 chapter could have 3 plot points for a secondary character. You're not beholden to that. Those characters are beholden to the movement of the main character's narrative. Does that mean you can't have full chapters to plot points for secondary characters? Absolutely not. You absolutely can. However, if the main character has 5 chapters per plot point, that's just so you understand, that right there is 135 chapters. And then if you give 5 chapters to the secondary, that's 270 chapters. So, you know, now we're getting a little crazy. But what you should be doing is, am I establishing the functionality and purpose of the plot point within the chapters I have? If so, did I go longer than I should, or did I not add enough? That's what you really should be looking at. That's what determines how many chapters you really should have it. So if your 27 plot point needs 3 or 4 chapters to establish the resolution, A, because you have 2 characters, you want to, one character went this way, one character went that way. There's nothing wrong with that. Just pacing will dictate if you're old. Remember, pacing's the speed at which information is presented to the reader. So if you're meandering or just like dilly-dallying, or you just, it's a chapter to be a chapter, like, that's when you have to start doing the work. But that doesn't come in until after you're done writing, at least at minimum the first drift. Just as it's the last PP is why I'm wondering, you know, which, by the way, is a completely understandable thing. Like, the book's over, let's just get it over in 1 chapter. But in reality, it all depends. Like, for example, the first book in the book you're reading currently in the Patreon tier, the plot point 27 is 1 chapter. It's a long chapter, but it's 1 chapter. In the second book, it's 4 chapters. It might even be 5, and the reason is because there's more than 1 POV. All right, writing good duels. Oh, all right. You're talking about like swords and stuff, right? Writing good duels. Look at all these great ideas. Man, you're filling up my calendar for next year. Talk about writing a series and how to tie multiple POVs and relationships together. Number 11. Series. Can you go a little deeper into tie multiple POVs? Like what you're looking for specifically? Because there's a couple things I could talk about, and I just want to make sure it makes sense of it. I won't be writing. You sure you don't want to write 135 chapters? Come on, Flowers. Come on, buckle down. Come on. It's not wrong with writing. In fact, as soon as you finish your 135th chapter, you'll hear. Wow. Okay, that was good. Got a lot of good stuff in there. I think I have ideas for next week. What do you got? Uh-oh. All right. Lol. Creating a game world with cards that a character makes. Do my story as an example. Creating a game world with cards that a creator. I wouldn't know where to start with that, my friend. Creating a game world with cards that a character makes. Are you asking me how to create an actual game world? Like a board game? I would need more on that. Lol. My books, the characters and their stories are very intertwined. So one character, one couple, and perhaps a couple chapters later, the other POV. I know. Okay, I know what you're talking about. I have a feeling most of my stories would be shorter in length. I have a feeling that everybody's stories will be shorter in length than 135 chapters. If you're writing your story with the right amount of depth, it still should be 27 chapters. However, just to be clear, 27 chapters doesn't mean 200,000 words. It doesn't even mean 100,000 words. In fact, 27 chapters doesn't even mean 40,000 words. Because a chapter has a very specific goal, it does a very specific thing, and then it moves the narrative forward by the end of it. The length of the chapter does not dictate anything in the sense of like it's a chapter. So when someone says a full chapter, it could literally be a page. If that page, that 500 words or 300 words, does what a chapter needs to do, it counts as a chapter. Doesn't matter that it's a page long. If it's 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, 30 pages, right? The chapter's length is just a consequence of what its purpose is. But when I say 27 plot points, and for the main protagonists, at least one chapter should be dedicated to that plot point. It just means that to have a full character arc and plot narrative, you need those 27 plot points to be filled with depth and interest. They need to accomplish something. However, that doesn't mean you're going to always accomplish. Just like with the sci-fi story, we easily saw several chapters need to be expanded into larger beats. And the reason I did that is pace. That was the one reason I said, all right, a lot happens here. I need to break this up so this can be absorbed by the reader, and not because if I go any further with more action or more whatever, it's going to be overwhelming. So you're creating breath or breathing room for the readers to absorb stuff, which in turn, by the way, increases your chapters. So our book, let me look at it. So So the book right now is at 29 chapters. We're not done yet. You know, a couple of the other chapters might expand into 2 chapters also. But right, we went from 27, 28, 29. So we expanded a couple of chapters. Let me just double check that. So chapter 7 became 2 chapters. So that went to 28. Chapter 12 went to 2 chapters. So that becomes 29. Chapter 14 became 2 chapters, so now we're at 30. And then chapter 19 became 2 chapters, so that's 31. All right, we're at 31. We're at 31 chapters right now, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Why is it saying there's not 31 chapters? That's weird. Oh, there it is. All right, 31. So there's 31 chapters. You know, it is what it is. Thomas making sure that the person reading his book can take a break and read a chapter out of the other 2 or 3 books he's reading at the same time. That's right. Hey, am I the only one? Sometimes I read a couple of books at the same time. I'll have an audio book I pay attention to when I like do the house chores or do the dishes. I have a book I read for when I'm trying to relax. I got a book I read on the computer. What's funny though is the majority of my books are like educational in the sense of like the psychology books, they're marketing books, they're, you know, not necessarily like self-help, how to improve books, but like more about like investing and stuff like that. And then like I have maybe like a third of it is like entertainment books, like fantasy and sci-fi and crime. But people always like, your books, they're all like thinking books. And I go, because that's what I like. I like to think. I like books that make me think. I like philosophy books. I like, stuff like that. But don't get me wrong. A good fantasy book, you got me. I'll sit there for hours. And but anyway, all right. I think we did. Oh, we got more. I got an idea for my chapter titles. Example: Chapter 1, Sin Card, the fragile crimson perfection facade. It's a facade. So my chapters are going to be called Sin Card, Shame Card, Healing Card. I like it because it's attached to the game world. That's very sneaky. I like the themes and tones. But I just want you to know, facade makes me think of what is that song from Jekyll and Hyde, where it's what is it? There's a face that we wear in the cold light of day. It's society's mask, it's society's way, and the truth is that it's all a facade. Dun, dun, dun. There's a face that we hide till the nighttime appears, and what's hiding inside behind all of our fears is our true self, locked inside the facade. Every day, people in their own sweet... What is it? Every day. Oh, every day, people in their own sweet way. Oh, every day, people in their own sweet way like to add a coat of paint and be what they ain't. That's how our little game is played, living like a masquerade, acting a bizarre charade, while playing the sane. But there's one thing I know, and I know it for sure. This disease that we got has got no ready cure, and I'm certain life is terribly hard when your life's a facade. Yeah. I read several at once, but mine are usually fiction. Can't go wrong with a good fiction book. Quality fiction should make you think, grow, and that I agree with. 100%. 100%. Learn without feeling like you're being taught. Yeah, for sure. If a book feels preachy to me, I get a little But I do like in books when characters and this is very prevalent in my books when I write it, where characters are sort of have different positions and they could argue those different positions. That's why I also like talking about character positions and having those, because it's good to challenge those positions. If a character believes in A and another character believes in A light, that can create a discussion that has nuance. The other thing is, like, if you've ever written a book and you hear people say, oh, you know, if you're going to write this kind of character, make sure, you know, they have depth. And that depth and nuance is what comes through those debates. So let's say you have 10 characters from the tree society and 10 characters from the mountain society and 10 characters from the plain society. Each of those 10 characters will have a cultural understanding, whatever it is, in their view, their perspective of the mountains, of the plains, of the whatever, of the trees. But then they'll have different perspectives on the other cultures. But also within those 10 people of every culture, each character will have their own positions. And if you write a book and a main protagonist enters a culture or enters the dragon people or whatever, and all of them basically think the same way and they all worship the same god with zero nuance, that's where you get into the issue. That's where nuance, without some sort of division, whether it be a click, 2, 3, 4, or 5 clicks away from each other's positions, without any of that, it becomes stereotypical. A lot of all Italians talk like this, like that is, that's where you fall into. You know? Character positions. I just hit the gutter. No one's judging. I've been hoping for a Christmas release, but at this rate, it might be 2026. You know, as they say, Christmas is just the time of giving. So anytime your book comes out and you could give people an opportunity to buy it, that's Christmas. All right. Bummer. Keep going, Flowers. You're going to do it, Flowers. If I were you, just start writing jibbity jabbity jibbity jabbida. You know, it's just about getting the word count out. Is your book with another author done? Oh, yeah, because Flowers is working with other authors. If I remember correctly, it's posted on that that group that you're in, right? Whew. What time is it? It's almost 4 o'clock. Woo! Look around you, I have found you. You cannot tell by looking at the surface what is lurking there beneath it. See that face? Now I'm prepared to bet you what you see is not what you get, cause man's a master of the sea. All right, sorry. Every day, people in there. Oh, okay. I'm not doing that now, cause it would turn out to be way over the word count. Yeah. Have an awesome day, everyone. Got to go do some work. Yeah, we got to get going. I feel like writing a book with someone sounds good in theory, but a nightmare in practice. Afghani, I'll tell you right now, that's how I felt when I got into writing screenplays, TV shows, and stuff with other people. And I'll tell you, the closer aligned you are with people in the mission of the narrative, the better that experience will be. And the more comfortable you are with being critiqued or pushed back on, the stronger that union will be. But obviously, if you're like, hey, let's write a book together, and you go, I would love to write a thriller, and they go, it'd be so good to write a romance comedy, you might not fit. But it's all about finding people that are at least on the page for something. However, one thing I did learn about writing with writing teams, especially in the industry, is when you go in, the first thing you do is throw out ideas. So again, if you sit down with a couple people and someone goes, I think it'd be interesting to write a crime, and someone goes, I want to write a romance. It's not about saying no. It's about figuring out which story would work the best between both of you. And you know what will end up probably happening? You don't write a thriller crime or a romance. You end up writing an action adventure, or you end up writing a comedy, or you end up writing a mystery. It's just allowing for debate, and it really does help move that along. The people in my story keeps going back to their sinful ways, so each time they receive healing. Ooh. It's a nice little consequence of something. I like that. I don't know if there's anyone aligned with me to that extent. And that's fine. That's fine. It is nice, though. It is nice to find people to at least bounce ideas off at minimum. Writing a cromance. Hells yeah. I want to write a cromance. Oh, Jesus. All right. So I guess that's it. It's time to call it a day. I think I need to what did I call it? Take a nap. Anyway, we got more? All right, I'll read. I also want to find someone to write a book with, but it's hard. The book? No, yeah, well, look, the best way to find people is be in the community. If you're not within the community of writers and authors and spending time with writing groups or going to events where writers are showing, you'll never find anyone. You gotta get involved. What's that? Cromance. It's like crime and romance. It's cromance. But I would argue that cromance would be a crime with romance, but a romime would be romance with a crime. Eh? How would that work, though? Even a cromance. So it would definitely have to be a mystery, not a mystery, but a crime that needs to be solved and a happily ever after. That would be... See, I like that. I like when you play with those kind of ideas. I like when you play with those kind of ideas. All right. What is that, Belly? It's lunchtime? All right, my friends. I will try to figure out what I'm going to do next week on Saturday. I will make a post about it on YouTube and, of course, the other social medias counts. I'll be honest, I'm leaning towards prologues, epilogues, only because more than one person said them. But I'm going to take every single idea, all of them, and I'm going to make videos on these ideas, and I'm going to have them for next year. So they will not fall in vain. With that said, I'm out. Thanks again for being here. Thomas J. Bellezza, as always, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you next time.